including these games that are coming up in midweek. There are only 33 games left in this championship season. That's only 99 points left to play for. That means that these games are must win. I know I'm being dramatic, but I was just doing it on response to some Oxford fans on X who have clearly hit the panic button, and because we're sliding down the table and haven't had a good run lately, they're labelling this game as must win. It's crazy and it's stupid, and I don't know why we do it at all points of the season. But regardless, I'm doing it for this round of games. It's week 14, it's midweek madness, it's must win for all clubs. So that means I've created a new rule, and that means there's going to be no draws allowed on this round of predictions. The winners are going to be showered with praise. The losers are going to be booed and jeered and shamed until my throat is hoarse.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Yeah. A bit like that. That does also mean that now I have a second rule, which is going to make it a bit confusing. Because of course I have my golden rule, which becomes more and more laughable with each passing week. And that is, of course, Oxford always win. It's going to be crazy and bold and dramatic, so strap yourselves in. Because it is literally the most pivotal point of the season. It's time for those predictions. And we start down at Bristol, at Ashton Gate for Bristol City versus Sheffield United. Both these sides are chasing promotion. Both these sides had a good win at the weekend. And both these sides know that this is a must-win game if they're going to keep pace with those promotion contenders. I literally can't think of a more must-win game than this. Bristol City are in the spirit of things, aren't they? They are already playing win-at-all-costs football. Here's one of their goals by Hirakawa against Preston at the weekend. Have a look at it, folks. I've played it back a few times slowly. I think there might be a little bit of a hint of handball in there. Let me know, especially Preston fans. Let me know. But it's ultimately a tale of two ex-Oxford managers, with Liam Manning coming up against Chrissy Wilder. And whilst I've got a newfound peace with Liam Manning, how can I possibly back against Chrissy Wilder? Oxford United legend, he saved our club. And that's not me giving in to hyperbole. Hyperbole? Is that how you say it? Hyperbole. Who knew? That's not me giving in to that. Chrissy Wilder saved our club. Look it up, folks. Playoff final against York 2010. There may not even be an Oxford United now if it wasn't for Chrissy Wilder. And his Blades are going to do the job in this must-win game. They beat Blackburn away. They're going to beat Bristol City away. Bristol City 1, Sheffield United 2. Oxford United versus Hull City is undoubtedly the game of these midweek fixtures. I'm sure you will all agree. And Oxford are stinking the joint up lately. Poor against Sunderland. Back that up with a poor display against Sheffield Wednesday. Now, despite us knowing this was going to be a tough season, the fact that it's got tough has meant that some fans have pressed the panic button, making this game ultimately must win. But it's the same for the Tigers. In fact, I can't think of a more must-win game than this. Hull City with a disappointing home draw against Portsmouth. They would have fully expected to win that game, but they really didn't play that well and could have easily ended up losing it if the referee would have added goggles on and gave a penalty, which surely looked like it should have been. But the Tigers will be desperate to put that right. So let's go for a crazy game at the Kassam Stadium. It's never going to happen because Oxford are never going to score these many goals in a million years. But I have to adhere to the golden rule, so let's make it a bit funky. Come at me, Hull fans. Let's see what you got. Oxford United 3, Hull City 2. Queen's Park Rangers versus Middlesbrough. As you know, I hate backing Middlesbrough. They do the opposite of everything that I do. I did the reverse psychology at the weekend and I kind of got the result I wanted with that Coventry win. QPR had a great result against Sunderland. And I think that's a fantastic draw that they got there, despite playing against 10 men for a long period of time. But both sides need the points for different reasons. QPR need to climb up the table. Middlesbrough need to keep pace with the promotion contenders. It's literally a must-win game. I can't think of a more must-win game than this one. But I think the R's are going to edge this one. I'm basing this on no other reason than the fact that QPR are at home. And I'm just going to think they back a good result against Sunderland. They're going to back this up with a great result against Middlesbrough. QPR 1, Middlesbrough 0. Sheffield Wednesday versus Norwich City. Both these sides coming off defeats at the weekend, so you know what that means. It's a must-win game for both of these clubs. I literally can't think of a more must-win game than these ones. The Owls got absolutely thumped by Watford at home. What a stinker of a result. Wednesday fans, tell me what you think about that one. Norwich, heartbreaking defeat, winning the game for a large period against Cardiff and then sinking down to 2 late goals. So both sides need a response, and I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday to win at home. They're going to edge out Norwich. I'm a bit done with Norwich. You keep letting me down, Canaries, but I do think it's going to be a fun game at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Norwich City 2.
Come on, Wednesday!
Plymouth Argyle versus Portsmouth. A battle of two sides down the bottom of the table looking to stay up. It literally is a must-win game for both sides, and I can't think of a more must-win game than these. Plymouth fans, away from home, things are dreadful. Is the bloom off the rose a little bit with Wayne Rooney? Let me know. Things are very different at home park, I know. But that was a terrible... Everything was terrible about that result against Leeds. The way you set up. It's a team that can't defend that went to defend. What are you doing? Terrible, terrible, terrible. But you are at home this time round and you'll be thinking you can beat this Portsmouth side. I know you shouldn't leave home park early because you always score late goals, or 4 of the last games there you scored in the late 90th minute goals. But if you want to leave early, leave early. I'd still leave early. I'm a busy man. I've got things to do. If you need to go, just go. What's it matter? You can just catch it on TV later on. Do you know what? I fancy Portsmouth in this game. There's no love lost between these two sides in this derby game. And I just feel that the way Portsmouth played in that second half against Hull, they really should have won that game. A first goal for good old Joshy Murphy. That's always good to see. And I fancy Pompey in this one. And I think they're going to get the job done. Disaster for Plymouth. More pressure on Wayne Rooney as they lose this must-win game. Plymouth Argyle 1, Portsmouth 2. Swansea City versus Watford. Both of these sides coming off a fine victory at the weekend. Swansea need to inject a bit of momentum into their season after that win, after a long spate without winning. Watford, an amazing victory over Sheffield Wednesday, but they need the points to carry on their promotion push. It's literally a must-win game, and I can't think of a more must-win game than this tie. But I don't know why I fancy the Swans in this one. Well, I do know why, and it's because they thoroughly impressed me in the win over Oxford. They passed the ball around and moved the ball so impressively well, and I just think that momentum's going to carry them through in this one, especially now they got that goal-scoring monkey off their back. I think they're going to come into this one with renewed vigour and confidence. But back against Watford at your peril, I know, especially after what they just did against Sheffield Wednesday. And maybe Swansea can just beat Watford up a little bit so they're completely out of gas for when they play Oxford on Friday night. So I'm going for a Swans win. I'm going for Swansea City 2, Watford 1. Moving on to Wednesday night's games, Blackburn Rovers versus Stoke City. Blackburn Rovers, their first home league defeat of the season, so they need to bounce back. Stoke looking for a little bit of momentum after that good win against Derby to try and propel them up the league. You know what it is, folks. It's literally a must-win game, and I can't really think of a more must-win game than this tie. Again, I'm favouring the home side in this one. I feel that Blackburn will bounce back after that defeat. If they do lose this one, though, it will be interesting if we'll start to see them slide down the league a little bit, whether that start to the season was just them overachieving a little bit. And it would be a big feather in the cap for Stoke, and it would kind of readdress where they might end up at the end of the season. So, as I said, massive game, must-win game, but I'm going to go with Rovers just to get this victory on Wednesday night. Blackburn Rovers 2, Stoke City 0. Coventry City versus Derby County. That's the Coventry I know and love. A fantastic victory up at the Riverside. 2 wins in a row. Is this the momentum now, Coventry? Are you finally going to start propelling yourself up the table? Derby, away from home woes continue. Stoke even gifted you a goal in that game, but you still ended up with a defeat. So both sides desperate for points. It is literally a must-win game, and I can't think of of a more must-win game than this one between these two sides. Again, I'm favouring home bias in this one, mainly because Derby are so poor away from home. We are as well, Derby, so don't start thinking I'm having a go against you. There's a lot of sides that are struggling on the road. I feel Coventry will be too strong, and I feel Coventry will win the game. Coventry City 3, Derby County 1. Millwall versus Leeds United. I haven't actually seen Millwall's game that they're playing today against Burnley, but I can tell you, regardless of the scoreline, they're going to need points in this game against Leeds. Leeds, as we know, pushing Sunderland at the top of the table. They need to keep pace with the Black Cats. So for both of these sides, it's a must-win game. In fact, I don't think I can think of a more must-win game than this tie. But this isn't going to be an easy game for Leeds. I feel Millwall are a very good side at home and a very difficult side to play against in general, really. Neil Harris has really got this Millwall side looking very stubborn and tough to beat, and they can certainly nick results as well, which is what they have done. So I don't think this is going to be easy for Leeds, certainly not as easy as it was in that victory over Plymouth, where they just got the job done by half-time and coasted through the second half. And I think they're going to be pushed, but I think they're going to come out on the right side of it. So another victory for Leeds. Millwall 0, Leeds United 1. Luton Town versus Cardiff City. Two sides again down the bottom of the table. Luton Town, it's all doom and gloom for them. They did rescue a point in that game against West Brom, but they certainly didn't look that great doing it. Cardiff City, what a great victory for them. Ex-Oxford United's Callum O'Dowda stepping up with the winner. That's where he learnt it, folks. He learnt it all at the Kassam Stadium. And you have to say, looking at this game, it's two sides that really need the win and two sides that will be looking at this as a must-win game. In fact, I can't think of a more must-win game than this one. And I'm going to do something a bit radical here. I fancy the Bluebirds to make it 2 wins in a row. Something about Luton is a bit off. And I just feel that Cardiff can get the job done there. I think it will be a real turn up for the books. Huge pressure on Rob Edwards if this one goes the way I'm thinking, and there's no rhyme or reason really, just for the fact it's a bit of a punt. Luton Town 1, Cardiff City 2. Preston North End versus Sunderland. Preston will feel robbed with their defeat that they had against Bristol City. We've already talked about that handball goal that went against them. Sunderland, what happened at QPR? I'll tell you what happened at QPR is I backed you to win. And that, for my Sunderland friends, I am truly sorry about. But because both these sides did not win, both these sides will be looking at this one as a must-win game. In fact, I can't think of a more must-win tie out of this round of fixtures. Sunderland need the points if they're going to maintain their promotion push. Preston, still looking over their shoulder down the bottom of the table, do still need to keep picking up some wins if they're going to start breathing a little bit more comfortably. Ultimately, this comes down to the fact of I sabotaged Sunderland last time by saying that they would win and ultimately cursing them. Cursed poor Jude Bellingham as well. So, Sunderland fans, I'm going to be backing Preston in this one. And before you start hurling abuse at me in the comments, I'm doing it for your own good. I'm doing it for the greater good. It's so I hope that the reverse psychology works, much like it does for Middlesbrough games, and by backing against Sunderland, like I did when you had that good week a few weeks ago, it will end up with a Sunderland victory. Because that is what I hope happens, but that is not what I'm predicting. There's some weird logic here, just get on board with it. Preston 2, Sunderland 1. And before I run out of voice, let's get to Thursday. It is West Bromwich Albion versus Burnley. Two huge clubs pushing for promotion this season. So without question, it is a must-win game for both sides. But Baggies, they can't win for love nor money. They just cannot win. They're as bad as Oxford when it comes to winning games at the moment. Burnley aren't really doing that much better. They're kind of nicking the odd game here or there, but neither of these sides looking particularly impressive, and I don't think this is going to be a very impressive game. But I am going to back the Baggies to get a victory. Come on, West Brom. You've eventually got to stick a ball away in the back of the net. Oh, to be fair, you did against Luton. It was a very nice finish by Josh Madger. Return to form, hopefully, for him. So let's go with a Madger goal, and let's go with another customary clean sheet. West Bromwich Albion 1, Burnley 0. I think I'm going to have a lie down now. That took a lot out of me, all of these must-win games. It is really a do-or-die time of the season. I don't know how any of these sides are going to recover from the defeats that I have put against them. It is critical point of the season, and if you don't win this one, how are you possibly going to recover when there is only 96 points to play for? So that'll do for these predictions. Leave your comments down below. Thank you for all the support you've given me on these videos. I am having a lot of fun messing around making them. I'll be back to do a review of Oxford United's victory versus Hull City, and then I'll be back to do another predictions video for the games at the weekend. Oh, they come thick and fast. I need an international break to recover. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
My work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?